Well, it's a good thing I gave myself some extra time tonight to get ready for this debate coming up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, the stage is set, literally, behind me. You see the stage. This is called the Depot, and the organization here is called the Playhouse, Duluth Playhouse. And I just want you to see, I mean, when you see, this is incredible. Look at some of these other buildings. They seem fairly normal. But when you come over to see this building, I mean, I immediately think, uh, fee, fi, fo, fum. Is built for something larger than life, as you can see. Just incredible. Uh, what a structure, and what a dramatic venue for such a giant in the earth uh, debate. Mike McFadden could go here out into the earth. He could reach in and take out that copper and nickel and send it off to that giant country in the east, China. I mean, the world is changing rapidly. And what a stage for Al to perform on. You can almost sense that he's becoming a serious actor. Uh, Maybe here might be a step towards some kind of court jester in a royal production. Now, just off to the side here is the Duluth Library, and there must be giants because they have these huge giant books outside the library. I mean, talk about large print. These are the large print books. And you get a really nice view of this giant depot structure and in the playhouse inside and in this morning light with the spotlights just lighting up its contours. It's truly a magnificent structure. I wonder what age this came out of. Truly, I would like to know. And there are some huge mining vehicles around here. These are vehicles that go out and they just do this open pit mining. So let me just preview this debate. MinPost has talked about what to watch for in this Frank and McFadden debate. So they did not plan for roles for the Independent Party, but and they're excited. They've said there's been months of debate by proxy. Um, it has been truly exciting, and they are going to square off. They're going to meet for the first time today, and there will be a live stream from Uptake, not from My 9 TV. I guess I was kind of thrown off. I did ask My 9 TV if they knew about the Uptake, but the director or the producer I talked to was new, and she would have to search the archives. Now, here are the 5 things which MinPost is looking for in today's debate here from this dramatic stage. First is mining and Chinese steel. And what they're talking about is Polytech. Polytech is the hope of this economy. As I walk up and down these streets full of boarded windows and locked doors so people can't get in, even in this cold weather, it's already cold up here, you can just sense the anticipation that some of the people are having to revive some of the old mining. But what I understand, it'll only create about 2,000 jobs. So it'll be something like the Central Corridor Light Rail project in St. Paul. And those jobs are all gone now. We have this huge structure. So in this case, we're going to, when the jobs are gone, we'll have this huge hole, this huge pit full of these sulfide chemicals which will, I don't actually know what the plan is to control that pollution. I don't think cleaning it up is enough. It has to be done in a way that it does not pollute the earth with these chemicals. This is my position. But that's the issue, and for some reason, Minpost thinks they're going to have Al on the defensive. So, but Al's going to be able to come back. Uh, this is about a copper nickel mine in Hoyt Lakes that they're trying to get this uh, license for. And Al might come back and say, he said, Mike, you would use Chinese steel to build the Keystone Pipeline. Well, how does that benefit American mining and American steel? Because I'm sure there's some of that here too. Then the next big story, which Minpost sees, is they see Franken and McFadden fighting the terrorists, getting peace in the Middle East. But I don't find that that is true. I find that they're both very afraid to do anything that they're not told to do. In particular, they don't want boots on the ground. If there's this action, a new state emerging in the land, neither one of them has mentioned it or called it a state, and they certainly don't seem to have a clue about terrorism. But apparently, they're wrangling about the role that Minneapolis might play. And as I've said, I see Al Franken bringing the war on terror to Minneapolis as a convenient prop. But it seems to me that that is overplayed and that Al should not be building it up because it seems to me that it's quite um, to be expected that people, when they come from Somalia, their heart is still going to be in Somalia. They want to build a future for Somalia, and I think that's how we should focus. I don't see the thrust of their interest going to the Middle East or any new country between Iraq and Syria. So, but that's the second big issue they expect to be played out on this stage. And McFadden says more should have been done to combat terrorism and terrorist recruitment in the United States, and especially Minnesota. But I think they're politicizing a lot of this. What we need to do is to take that state down and not let the Iraq war shift into Syria. But I've heard nothing from either candidate on that. I don't expect to hear anything about that, neither does Minpost. Apparently, McFadden is making some kind of an effort, taking some initiative on health care, and yet Minpost says it's basically the same often introduced Republican proposals, tort reform. Well, my point of view, what should tort reform be? Well, they try to limit people from suits. If they're damaged by health care, they're trying to get the Senate to pass laws that they can't sue. Um, and I can understand that because it does drive up the cost of health care. But if people are injured or damaged by medical treatment, I don't see that as the same as giving people access to health care. I see this, I don't actually know what it's supposed to do. I guess it goes with the old reducing costs approach of the so-called Affordable Care Act. I don't really see it as very important in the scheme of saving lives. Do you? Expanded healthcare savings accounts. Well, those things are very problematic because the IRS has rules on those, and if you get terminated from your job when you've put thousands of dollars into one of these accounts, uh, the IRS can keep that money from you. Uh, and again, it's building up costs. It's saving a lot of money for high costs. And again, I don't think it gives some people access to health care, but it doesn't control costs and really help them get the health care that they're liable to really need. So it's kind of a hedge against future costs, maybe to help you pay. I don't even know if you can pay deductibles or premiums with those. Um, that could help if you could. So this is what Mike's going to come up with. Insurance sales across state lines, not a bad idea, but I don't see again as a solution to the healthcare problem. Uh, I would tend to agree that what the Republicans have put forward as a party is not very effective, and I guess I expect Franken to make that point. I would certainly make that point, but I do think that the Republicans do care about saving lives. And if we can come up with the proposals, as I've already proposed, take this model of BSEPT, which is this breast and cervical cancer early detection and treatment program that helps low-income women, and you take it so that they can get treatment and save their lives from cancer. If you can build structures like that, uh, and get a lot of, by the way, that model has a lot of private participation. All this Susan Komen for the cure is a brilliant approach, and uh, they actually fund the treatment, and they do try to get some people on medical assistance if they can get that, but they care for the more giants in the earth here from the depot behind me, but they care for uh, the patients, the people who are diagnosed. They give them the best care, and they save their lives. And this is what we could all get behind. I don't see these other things like where are you buying your insurance and things like that. Uh, I don't see that as what the free market is all about. The free market is just there. It's free. It doesn't need to be constructed by Mike McFadden or the Republican Party. Doesn't even need to be allowed to go across state lines. The free market contribution to healthcare is innovation, and it is all of us putting our means, our resources into this gigantic campaign or project of advancing medicine, improving our own lives, and saving the lives of those who we now have the capacity to help. There's also giving knowledge so people can make intelligent choices about exercise and health and their lifestyle. And it's just so much that freedom has contributed, I believe, to our longevity. I believe we need to use it right, because if you have too much and you lack discipline and you start to splurge too much, you start to just eat too much, you become slothful. This can come from freedom too. So freedom really means freedom to learn how to live better and more healthy lives. And that's the purpose of freedom and its contribution to healthcare as I see it. Now let's see what else is likely to be part of this drama. They are saying we should look forward to, apparently today there'll be a report on the healthcare costs, premiums for next year, and that may become a political subject. But I think it's pretty clear that the program is not going to work. You're building in more costs. A lot of bureaucracy is going to be very expensive and very ineffective. And the more you try to make it effective, the more money you're going to have to spend to build up a big bureaucracy. We need to dismantle that. It's not going to work. We need targeted approaches to fighting killer diseases and letting people play the roles that they really can, and the capacity that they build up through developing businesses, medical devices, technology, knowledge of medicine and practices, and as well as preventive on the front side, social organization. There's so much that no bureaucracy can even conceive of it, let alone manage it or orchestrate it. So it needs all of us. So the next big issue is the 97% and some votes to raise taxes. Al says that that 97% figure is inaccurate. That that is a count only of issues on which Obama took a public stand. So there's all kinds of votes which are not included, which I guess would perhaps, well, they wouldn't count because Obama didn't. Oh, after all, Obama doesn't vote, and so it isn't it isn't like he's voting the same as Obama because Obama's not voting, but Obama takes some position and then this is matched up. So that's something that Al's going to bring out today to try to fight back against that. And then finally, uh, MinPost wants to know whether uh, Al's going to get aggressive today, and I would assume he's going to try not to get aggressive because he's the incumbent and he's ahead, and so he expects McFadden to try to challenge him and make mistakes, and all of that's going to happen right here in the Playhouse at the Duluth Playhouse in the depot right behind me. So we'll look forward to that.